he's got to take a lot of snaps on Saturday.
Right.
You know, but I like our young guys. We got a good little stable of young guys, so we're trying to get them a bunch of reps. But you know, the more reps those guys take, that adds to that youthness of a practice where they have a hard time sometimes straining mentally. And you know, whereas the older guys, if they're in there, they can digest the game plan better. That'll add to what I was just talking about earlier.
Steve, with the passing game, is it you know, the perimeter receivers that have you a little bit concerned more? Because I mean, Chris was able to get to Fitzpatrick. You talked about Khalif Irvin, a guy like Ryan Alderman you keep mentioning, but a guy like Deion Miller, guys like C.J. Hammond, are those the guys that really have to start going up and getting the ball for you? Is that where you want to see some of the growth there?
I do, yeah. But I mean, I think Chris is throwing the ball well. You know, I mean, in practice, when I watch him in practice, he's throwing the ball well, and you know, we just got to get it going. We just got to open it up a little bit, you know. But I mean, we are a run football team, you know. I mean, I don't want to masquerade around here now. I mean, you know, we're going to run the ball. I mean, I want to come out of a game and have 250, 300 yards rushing. I mean, you got to really work at that to get that done. So, but I got to tell you, I mean, he's throwing it really well, really well. I mean, really impressed with him right now, throwing the football. So, I'd like to see one of those deep balls be caught. You know, of course, we only chucked one of them, so got to throw a couple more, I guess.
Can you talk about last year's game? It just seems like after you guys went down there and defeated Maryland, Temple became more of like in the national spotlight, so to speak. People started to take notice of you guys after that win.
Yeah, I mean, it was that game last year that, you know, people paid attention to. You know, you're in the MAC conference and you're beating the BCS ACC team, and that happened. But I think it's that along with the whole body of work, you know what I mean? And you know, and as wonderful as that little moment was, I mean, we didn't handle it very well, and we came back and dropped a game that we didn't need to drop because we didn't know how to handle that kind of success, which was part of that growing process. So this is, let me tell you, getting a Division I college win is really difficult. It really is. I mean, and you just got to really be on top of your deal as a player, as a coach. And they're hard. They're hard. It's harder than it's ever been. It really is.
Now, with that said, do you prefer like preparing your team going into a game where the team had a great win, as opposed to losing to a team that they were, as opposed to barely beating the team they were supposed to win?
You know, people ask that a lot. You know, you hear that bantered about. I got to tell you, I don't really pay much attention to it. I mean, because you could build a case for anything, right? I mean, you know, oh, they lost, you're going to go into a hornet's nest, or you know, or they won, they're going to take you lightly, or I don't know the psychology of every team. I really don't, and that's what it is. I mean, you just don't know. I don't know their team's makeup. I don't even know if I know enough of our team's makeup yet. We haven't been through enough yet, you know. But you just gotta really have great preparation. And you've got to see it in practice to give yourself the best shot to go play really well. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. And you can't have a letdown. And you got to fight all that. And whatever you got to do. We as coaches are in a foot race to figure out our own team sometimes. You know, and just kind of get a beat on that a little bit. You know, I would say to you right now, I really like our football team. I think that they're real hard workers. I think they really like football, you know. So my anticipation would be like for tomorrow, I challenge them a little bit today. I bet we have a hell of a day tomorrow. You know, that's my take on my football team right now. So, but we got to wait and let that prove out to be true, you know. That's what they showed me Saturday. You know, they showed me that one game doesn't make a season, but it was a starting point. So that's where we are.
Coach,
Harry.
Two-part question. After the first week of the changes with kickoffs, what you think of it, and two, have you come to a conclusion as to how you're going to approach it uniformly, or is it going to be on a situational basis?
It's a little situational, you know, weather. You know, you're kicking into strong winds. You know, who the return guy is. So it's a little situational, but I kind of feel like if they get you deep into the end, you know, if you're 3 or more yards in now, you bet you stay in. You know, don't try to take those on edge ones out, which we would traditionally do. We're not doing that. But other than that, I mean, you know.
What I was more angled toward is how Brandon will kick off. I mean, you're going to tell him, look, I'll be willing to take the ball on the 25.
Yes.
I'll just kick the shit out of it.
Yes, especially if the team has a good return guy. You know, I mean, you got a great return guy. Don't play with that now. If you can kick that ball to the end zone, a good return, kick it out of the end zone. Put it on the 25. Still got to go 75 yards now. You know, I mean.
Does that 5-yard rule mean a lot in terms of a couple guys getting a little bit of a head start?
It makes you a little more conscious. Like on Saturday, Friday and Saturday, or I'm sorry, Thursday and Friday, I had to consciously, in that game, I always reminded them each time, whatever you do not be offsides. The extra foot you're trying to gain won't matter versus the penalty. Okay? So that piece is important to me. No more, I mean, you don't want to be messing with you don't want to be offsides. You know, I was watching those games this weekend, and you know, boy, you watch those sometimes, you're like, why do you look offside? So I just don't mess with it, because that'll bite you. That's the one that I'm more concerned about.
Coach, Friday you said to get the offense a little vanilla, and there's some other things you're going to do. When you do expand the playbook, do you anticipate that the guys on the outside making plays, that'll sort of take care of itself?
Well, that's a piece of it, you know. But, you know, you're trying to expand the playbook right now. It's probably a byproduct today a little bit is, you know, have to digest all of that, you know. Got to get back in that mold again. You know, we were in there in training camp for a while. We were operating pretty good. And then we hunkered down a little bit for a couple of reasons. One was we didn't want to show everything, but that really wasn't even the main reason. The main reason was the style of defense that Villanova played. It was just kind of a 3-down team. We figure, you know, we can just mismatch them, close ranks, put bigger people on them, and kind of get on them a little bit, you know, which we did a year ago as well. So there's two pieces to that deal. But we are trying to open that up quite a bit, actually. And therein lies why today's a little harder day, because you're going back in now, and, you know, you're in that 10-day, 2-week grind of some pretty vanilla stuff, you know, and now you're expanding. Of course, you're also expanding your opportunity for more mistakes.
See, when you talk about when you have a veteran team, when you have some veterans who come in and just knock it out and they don't get caught up in all the other variables, who are the guys on this team who are, again, I know it's a young season, but who are those guys that you do have that you say, this guy's got this? I know he's
Marty Wallace, Sean Boyle, I mean, those guys can bang it out. Those would be the only two on the offensive line. Cody Booth can bang it out. You know, Chris Coyer can absolutely bang that stuff out. You know, just offensively, those would be your guys. I mean, you know, you'd like more guys up front that could do that. You'd like to say 4 of those guys could bang it out pretty good. You know what I mean? You know, you got a lot of young guys, and things are moving on you a little bit. You know, it's harder. You know, it just is. And I thought they handled that well on Saturday. To be honest with you, I thought they did. But that's therein lies. You know, I can't quote you how many young guys we have per se, or they're, you know, I don't have that roll down. I just know that we replaced 4 out of 5 starters on the offensive line, and so thank God Sean Boyle is actually a really sharp guy who, even though he didn't play last year, has got some playing experience. So, but I mean, this is all a byproduct of a bunch of guys that haven't played a bunch or haven't played a bunch together.
How do you think Whittingham and Newman did in their first?
You know what? I thought they played pretty decent. But you know, they're not leathered up yet. You know, those are guys that I think have got to learn. Like, you know, they talk about straining mentally right now. That's why we kept it pretty vanilla Saturday now. You know, it wasn't real hard to play up front on Saturday now. It was relatively pretty easy. And you know what? We didn't have a bunch of mistakes and stuff like that. And if I think that's a problem, well, that's always an option. You know, last thing you want to do is have a bunch of mental mistakes, missed assignments, or put the ball on the ground. That'll ruin your day in a hurry.
When you face what you face